ladies and gentlemen, this conversation is going to be a very interesting one because the person we are going to be speaking with today is Aderonke Fowosere, and many people don't know her by her first and last name. May- A lot of people know her more as Techpod, Techpod Africa, and so in my own head, I see her as um, a talking tech point. Let's put it like way, or tech crunch, a tech punch crunch that talks. So she's a vibrant content creator, and she's also the lead creator for Tech Pod Africa, an African tech media company that's dedicated to curating African tech stories through African lenses. So pretty much, she has taken the responsibility not to allow our stories to be told by others, but our stories to be told via the African perspective. So thank you very much for joining, and Ronke.
Having me.
Yes. So unlike most conversations that you might be familiar with, as someone who runs a media company, they are usually a way. The conversation is usually holistic, but this conversation is just one question, and that one question segues into different questions based on what you just told me. So it's not a structured conversation. So the one question for this conversation is how you did it. So I'm just going to ask you, Ronke, how did you do it?
I would like to start Tech for Africa.
How did you do it entails like a chronological way in which you built yourself to the point of having that light bulb moment of starting Tech Pod Africa. So it's like pulling the curtain by unveiling the personality. What happened? What did you go through for you to now get to that point of you thinking, okay, it's time to curate African stories, African tech stories.
Okay, so where do I start from? That's the question. Where do I start from? Okay, since we're talking from Tech for Africa, I'll start from when I started to do things that are related to media. I've always been someone who likes to air opinions. I've always been someone who enjoyed presentations, who enjoyed interviewing people,
Mm.
having conversations with them, things of the sort. So growing up, I would always be the one to anchor stuff in church. I'd always be the one to just, speak when it comes to speaking, when it comes to anchoring, when it comes to presentations in church. I also remember vividly that when I was in nursery two or something, good day everyone, my co-debaters, fellow students, da da da. So I used to do that a lot. But fast forward to after secondary school, looking for, was it after secondary school? No, it was after my ND in Yaba College of Technology. I started to, even during ND2, I started to take up presenting gigs as part of the hustle to keep body and soul together while studying, right? So I would always go for gigs, whatever pays. I even had a stint on a show on STV, Inspire for Quantum Leap. It aired like two or three episodes or something, and then the funding dropped. So after that, I would always, look for anchoring gigs. I worked for a while on a TV show at NTA as well. For a while. Then after that, I just dropped all of that and went into sales. Right, going into sales. Going into sales, I noticed that it was just something I enjoyed, apart from enjoying doing it, because a lot of people felt like sales is hard. I decided, okay, this thing I'm actually going to do it. I want to learn it, primarily because, okay, I don't want to be that boss that says everybody go out and sell, go out and sell, and then I don't know how to sell. So I'll just say that at the end of the day, apart from being a person that talks, apart from a person that likes to converse with people, I've just always been a person who is business minded. I always like to find solutions to problems. I like to sell things, etc. So starting Tech Pod Africa was actually not about Tech Pod Africa per se.
Okay.
I had started work on a startup. It's called Fave. That's the shirt I have on right
Okay.
now. Fave. So in 2020, this is last year was 2023, right? 2022, we had started building Fave, and that was December of 2022. So I was like, nobody knows me in tech, right? I'm building this product. Nobody knows me in tech. I can't just come up with a product out of nowhere and expect people to buy into it. So how do I lay a foundation for this product that is coming? And I just sat down thinking and thinking, and it was like, okay, this thing is actually easy. You have these media skills, right? And you like to talk. What solution would you bring to the tech space in terms of, content creation and all of that? And looking around, I saw that a lot of tech people that were doing tech, the Fisaya Fusudos, Miss Techie, Kagan Tech, all of them are more gadget people. Kagan does a lot of software as well, but most people are gadgets, hardware and all of that. And I was like, okay, there is this space. And also, I mentioned that I was working in sales, right? So between sales and starting Techpd Africa and starting Fave, I started working with a blockchain company, right? I'm working in the business development unit 2 years prior. So I was like, there are so many people who think that tech is this very difficult thing that if you're not coding, then you're not in tech at all. So that was that was the startup point for me. Like for someone like me, I'm not really a code person, but I'm able to do well in tech as a business analyst, as a company PR person. So why not share this news that, okay, you can change your life through tech and you don't necessarily have to code. So that's where it started from. And then it just kept getting bigger, the vision. Okay, let's spread it out, talking about African startups. Let's spread it out to finding ways to just make tech more attractive to people. So more or less starting from, okay, how can I legitimize myself for when this product comes out? But then going into it, I saw that there was a lot of, should I say, there were a lot of holes to plug up in the African tech space. So that's how Techpd Africa started, basically. That's that was a long that was a
It,
long conversation.
uh, yeah, yeah. It's not long. It's not long. It's actually very interesting, and your story, it's pretty much very consistent with every emerging professional I've spoken with, every founder I've spoken with, um, any cohorts that I've worked with within the marketing, martech, and tech space, whereby they have like a natural talent for certain aspects of business. Yes, so they own in on that particular talent. They try to sharpen it by being by self developing, and when they actually find some sort of purpose, be it setting up a company or setting up or creating a product or something, they actually notice a void when it comes to them actualizing the vision. And one of the things that they know, one of the many things that they noticed that is missing, a particular one for them that they feel they're in control of, would be being able to set up a personal brand that allows you to so you now use your personal brand, so you leverage your own personal brand to create more exposure for the business they've created, the business that they've represented, the product they've created, or the product they've represented. And that's pretty much what I got from most of what you just said. So I want to like walk us back a little bit. What going into because this is a conversation around pretty much helping young professionals, where you were when you were in ND2, where you know that it is hot for your body, but you were just like pretty much, because you have desire, so desire got you so far. But if you knew how to work your way, probably you'll be like the biggest platform right now, which I know you are very aggressive about what you do. You are constantly posting. You're very consistent with you've been putting out content. But you took a lot of decoys to eventually find where you are. So now, knowing what you know now, knowing what you know now, what are the things that you will tell an emerging professional, somebody that was Aderonke in ND2, someone that just finished NYSC, someone that just is about to get their first job, someone that is about to start their first business, someone that clearly has a vision, but they don't know the path in which they are going to go through it. So it's a very long question, but the short question is, what are the things that you think they need to do as far as personal branding to like take them 10 steps faster than making so many mistakes that you probably made in the past?
Okay, so I think a thing, if I had, say, starting out in 92, doing all of these gigs, if it was something that I was more vocal about, maybe I would have gotten here faster. But that may not even be true, because Techpd Africa is tech centric, right? And 5 years ago, I would not have thought that I would be neck deep, in fact, head deep inside the tech space, right? It took me going through retail sales, being an operations manager at one of Nigeria's leading luxury retailers. After that, then getting introduced to the blockchain space and seeing that, oh, tech is actually super interesting. It's not what I thought it was. And, blockchain is like one of the cutting edge parts of tech right now. So just going head first into that and seeing that, okay, I can actually perform in this space, but then I still have these other skill sets that I can merge and just create a whole new entity. So basically, I would say that number one, as far as your hungry, number one, as far as you are following the nudges of your heart, and by heart I don't mean impulses, I mean gut. You know that you want something more for yourself, and at every point in time you're doing your best to ensure that you're putting yourself out there, you're taking the most advantage of all opportunities. Because with this my blockchain company, when I was introduced to my boss, I did not think I was going to be doing tech. We just got talking, and he loved the way I think. He loved that I had a curious mind. He loved that whenever I will talk about something, I'll quickly go research it and come have a conversation with him. So that's how he brought me slowly into the company. So the major thing I would say is that whatever opportunity that is in front of you right now, like, make the most out of it, milk it. And by milk it, it's not like be opportunistic or anything. It's just throw yourself in, be very curious, be open-minded as well, because you don't know if it's this particular casual conversation that you're having with someone over the phone that would actually lead to your dreams, more or less. Because like I mentioned earlier, I've always had this entrepreneurial spark. I've always wanted to solve problems, sell things, but there was just no opportunity to do that. But coming into this space, I started working in tech, and from working in tech, I noticed that I could create a lot of solutions, right? And then the tech job was what created the financial bedrock for me to be able to start Techpd Africa, for me to be able to start Fave as well. So the major thing I would say is that, because all of us have different opportunities at different times, whatever opportunity presents itself to you, make the most of it.
Okay. Whatever opportunity presented to you, you need to make the most of it. That's very crystal in my mind, because we people always assume that opportunities need to come in a very big way, and you talked about having those little conversations, that small conversation that you're having with someone that might just be like, I'm just chatting with this very smart person, might actually form the bedrock of where you might potentially go to. And if you don't see it as an opportunity for you to latch on and dig deep, go in neck deep, as you earlier said, you might not see it. And we in this world today, we live in a world of opportunities, but the people who eventually make it to the promised land, or make it to the life of their dreams, are the ones that are the ones who would take those, who look through those micro moments and see them as opportunities, and take them to the very end. So now, walking back a little bit, building on what you just said, because I said this, you are the one giving the questions here. So if so you said you worked when in a blockchain company, you work with sales. So I would want to imagine that you have the opportunity to work with young individuals, and you probably right now are working with people who are much more younger than you, fresh out of school grads, interns and things like that. So what are the things? What are the elements that you think is that you feel there are no wrong answers and there are no right answers that you feel is consistently missing amongst these guys that you think if they have these attributes, it quickly starts separating them from the rest of the pack.
Okay, thank you for that question. That's a really good question. Um, I've been in, should I say, managerial roles in. So the last company, the retail company I worked for, I used to be operations slash admin manager. So I used to be in charge of interviewing the people that would come in as sales associates because it was a retail business, right? And then in this blockchain one that I'm in, I sit in on interviews when we're trying to get devs and all of those, alongside the head of product and all of that. And right now with Fave's HQ, the company, my company, I hire people, right? And across board, a lot of people tend to think that it is the smarts. Okay, let's say the smarts will easily get you in, but the attitude is cliche, honestly, it's very cliche. But at the end of the day, it's the attitude that keeps you in. So I'll give an example of a few months ago. I hired a tester for Fave. We're launching and they wanted to ensure that there were no bugs. So I hired a tester. She's someone that I used to know, and I was like, okay, she should be able to get the job done. It was supposed to be a 2-month contract, such that after then we'd see if we would want to renew. Right. So month one, she gets on board. The first few weeks, she's hitting things and she's getting things done. But then afterwards, she starts to slack. And then I'm asking a few questions. Okay, have you checked this out? Okay, you tested this, you're not sure it's working. Have you tried these other options? And she's like, no, but I asked you a question, you didn't answer me. I said, I understand that you want to ask me questions, but you should have gotten it to a point where there are no other options. Like you've checked all available options and they are not available. Then you come to me and be like, okay, now I have not been able to find a solution. Not that you're coming to me with every issue and then I'm the one finding solutions to the things that you're supposed to be finding solutions for. So basically that mentality, and at the end of the day, she actually quit. She quit because she was like, I should be able to always ask my team lead a question at every. I'm like, you can ask, but avail yourself of all the solutions. Ensure that it's not from your browser. Ensure that the problem is not from your computer. After you've checked those, then reach out to me. Then I'll be able to provide an answer. So I think a lot of people want things that are ready-made, number one, and then also the ability to what's the word? I'm looking because Gen Z. People would say I'm Gen Z, but I'm not really Gen Z.
Problem solving.
What?
Problem solving.
Yeah, so there's the problem solving one, and then there's also the attitude one, because this particular example was the ability to think and solve problems. But we also hired a dev who it was his attitude that got him out of the door. Have you done this? Have you done this? No, but then you're not asking. Okay, so the issue was attending stand-ups. Come and attend this stand-up. He said that at this time he's not available. And we're like, okay, we have an agreement for you to work on specific days of the week, and you're supposed to be available throughout that time bandwidth. He said that he couldn't be available at 10 a.m. and there was nothing we could do about it. He was not going to tell us the reason why, and whatever it is we want to think, we should think, but he's not available, period. I'm like, whoa, wow, okay. Sorry, bye. So for that person, he had the skill set, he had the problem solving skill set, but he didn't have the attitude that would carry him through with the company as the company grew. So for professionals, I'd say that of course get all of the skill sets that you want to get, but in everything ensure that you're open to being able to self-manage, number one, self-manage, and number two, having the right attitude to work in a team is everything.
Wow. Um, I've heard different words since I started this conversation with my guys. I think that's my new thing, my guys. And this is the first time somebody is touching about one part of employee character or professional character, which is attitude. Um, every we're not. This is not a knock on Gen Z podcast, but I've read so much that every generation always feels that this new generation they are not trying at all. You get we millennials. I can remember very well growing up. They always, because we're the internet babies, so they always make
Yeah, people tend to call me Gen Z. They're like, and I'm saying no, I'm on the borderline between millennials and Gen Z. I'm holding the fort.
I understand, but um pinpointing on one the major character that you talked about, um that's attitude. And attitude is everything.
It is, honestly.
It's like you can say all of the things that you've just said now without a smile on your face and it will sound totally different. Everything
Exactly.
you just said, you can say the exact same thing and it will appear totally different. And you can laugh and spoil somebody's life at the same time, and the person will be glad that you are spoiling their lives. So it's always like it's the attitude to work, and that's where um many of the interviews that I've been to, because for people like us who have japa, you get, like
Congratulations, bro.
we, we interview for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's it. Now the company that I currently work with, when I got into this company, that was actually when I knew the reason why I got the job. Yeah, because there is something that HR managers usually call culture fit. Culture fit. It's cliche. It's a buzzword. But once you get into but if they do their due diligence on a talent, be it the recruiter, the hiring manager, the panel, everybody tries to go through that person's assessment, and they decide to pick that person. You actually know the reason why. When you get into the team, that's when you seamlessly fit in with the other people within the team. And that's one thing that I always like try to talk to people about. Like, if you are a manager, you're a business owner, think of your company as, say, like the Avengers. Yes, the Avengers, all of them, each and every one of them, they want to save the world, right? They want to cater for the smaller guy, but they all do it in their different ways. So assembling your own Avengers, knowing how each character fits into it's like fixing a puzzle together to make up that very well uniformed, well oiled engine called a team, is usually it actually really helps you when you are deciding to pick a character that will be coming into your team. I know, as you spoke earlier, um these guys that you've talked about, they have the skills, but they just didn't have the right attitude to work in your own high energy environment where you need to like get things done and make things happen and just try to be as effective as possible. It's actually the minimum requirement. So Gen Z's, there is a generation coming after you guys, Gen Alpha. I'm already hearing Gen Alpha. By the time you guys
Be honest,
yeah.
I don't even think it's a Gen Z problem. It's just a personality thing. Because, I'm talking of this one. Maybe they are more in the younger category, but I've worked with people that are way older than me that I was managing, and then they still had very poor attitudes to work. And then those ones will not be the ones saying that, who is this Smora that's trying to tell me, Kini, I'm the Smora about because we need to get things done. So I think it's just a personal. I just use that Gen Z term because it's a buzzword for being woke. But I think it's a person to person thing, if we're being honest.
Yeah, you're right. It's an individual, it's an individual thing. So that's, but mostly the people who we're targeting for this conversation are mostly Gen Zs. Quite frankly, we are calling you guys out this time. But the thing is that it is not a call out. It is not like it is not a stick. It is a thing that when you two grow up to become managers, you eventually see some of these things, and you eventually see some of these things in people coming behind you, and this conversation is a way for you to be able to handle some of the challenges that will be coming your way, and everybody just imagine you to be a superstar, but they will not know that you just listened to it on a podcast like 5 years ago on how to handle things. The next major question is, before we just like start wrapping things up on a much more charming note, is that what you talked about Fave, and the question I wanted to ask you was what projects are you working on, and what are you proud about it. But you've mentioned Fave. Like Fave is like my favorite word now. So tell me about Fave. Tell me about it.
Okay. Fave is a social commerce platform. I mean, we like to call it Fave, the social commerce platform. And social commerce has become a buzzword right now, but Fave is like going down to the nitty-gritty of commerce. The biggest reason why a lot of people purchase items is because someone they know and trust told them that that product is good. Most of the things I had, I either bought them from someone I know and trust, or I bought them because someone I know and trust actually told me that it makes sense to buy it. So Fave is just making that process profitable for everybody that is making referrals. So if you want to dumb it down to the clinical terms, it is an affiliate marketing platform, but really it is social commerce embodied into a platform. So a person is making a referral, there is a merchant whose product it is, and there is a shopper who is buying because of the referral. So when you come to Fave, you're not coming to Fave to shop directly from merchants. You're coming to Fave to view the collections of people who you know and trust, and then based off of that, you're picking the items that you need. So think of an Amazon storefront, or in the US, it's called like to know that it. Think of that, but in a way that is more elaborate and that is more consumer facing, that is more rewarding, that is more data driven. Because on the merchant side too, a lot of people don't have enough data. You want to sign someone as a brand ambassador, for example, but you're just throwing it in the air. Okay, this person is quite popular, they have 2 million followers on Instagram, or even 150K followers, but you sign them as a brand ambassador, you don't know how much they're actually selling. Are the new sales coming in because of this person? Are they coming in through this person, or they are coming in because of the new ads that we're running? You don't know. So basically, Fave on the merchant side will help all of the merchants to control their affiliate marketing process and make data-driven decisions. It might be the person who has 50,000 followers that is pulling in more sales than the person with 500,000 followers. You're able to see all of that. So merchants onboard their products, their affiliates come in and select which product they use and love, and then the affiliate recommends it to their network. The network that it is recommended to come in and make the purchase through the affiliates. Once that sale is being made, splits are distributed to the merchants and to the person who is making the referral. So at the end of the day, at the end of the month, each person is able to look at their data and be like, oh, okay, how much have I sold? And the reason why this is very key is because, we have this coupon code system. Use my code on this website and you get 20% off. On the person that is saying use my code doesn't know how many people use their code. So there is that trust gap. Is this website actually giving me all the money I made, or are they trying to play with me? So basically, as each sale is being made, the Fave, we call it Fave, or the influencers, the affiliates, they are seeing it on their dashboard. The merchant is seeing everything on their dashboard as well. And basically, the shoppers are able to reward the people who recommend great products to them.
All right. Is this product live yet?
Oh, it is. It is. We've started marketing.
Started marketing. Awesome. I'll actually like to take a look at it.
It's faveshq.com. FAVESHQ.com.
Okay. Spoiler alert, we might be competitors, but it's all good.
Okay, nice.
From what you just said now, there are certain things that differentiates us, and I actually like the part where you talked about it's what you just described now sounds like if a marketplace like Facebook Marketplace affiliate marketing and influencer marketing made a baby, the outputs sounds that's what I failed to just explain to me now, and that's going to be a super baby. So I wish you guys I wish you the very best I wish you the very best on that. So moving on from your shameless plug, because I told you to come and talk about yourself. You came here and you
I
talk
don't
about
know. I got to sell my market.
I think you sell your market, which is good. What's something that you would love to change in the industry to make it better, and why?
To change in the industry, in the tech industry as a whole, or in the e-commerce industry?
No, tech industry. Let's take the tech.
That's a good question. I've not thought of it before. Okay, so I think that's what we're already doing at Techpd Africa, because very recently, I sent you that thing about Techpd Africa that are telling African stories are telling stories of genius and innovation from an African perspective. That is everything. But when we boil down to the root of everything we're doing, we're basically empowering techies, creating avenues through which people have access to information. And to be very honest, if I will be very keen with myself, tech has changed my life. In the past few years that I've been working in tech, my life basically did a roundabout turn. In tech, I have found ways to use my skills as a salesperson, is my skills as a very critical thinker, my skills to solve problems. And then I'm now able to basically preach that gospel to everybody else, that if you really want it to, tech can actually change your life. Of course, you have to be hardworking. Of course, you have to ensure that you're putting your all into it. But with time, tech has the greatest potential, should I say, among all skills, maybe apart from being in the medical field or something, to basically take you from doing nothing to, in the next 5 years, you're actually a self-sufficient person working for a global company. So I do believe that a lot of people don't really understand that. They don't understand the power in being able to have a job and call it a global job, that if you go to China right now, you're able to use those same skill sets and probably earn exponentially more. If you go to the USA, those same skill sets, you'll be able to use earn exponentially more, just plug into their system and that's it. So basically creating avenues through which more people can understand the opportunities available within tech. And then once they come into these opportunities, the enabling environment or the resources that they need to actually power through. That is what Techpd Africa embodies, in terms of information, in terms of resources, in terms of events, in terms of scholarships and all of that. That is where Techpd Africa is going to as a tech media company, and we look to spread our tentacles to the entire world. But basically, that thing that I see as a missing piece is what Techpd Africa represents.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. And this, what you just said, um, touched on a question that I didn't think that I would ask. As you touched on being you creating a vehicle that helps Africans, that no matter where it is that they go to in the world, China, and you talked about China, United States, they will be able to fit in and hit the ground running. As a class of 2022 Jagba person, it's something that I noticed within the class of 2022, maybe 2023 are changing the story, I don't know, is that many people who have certain skills found it very difficult to transition into the economy here, getting the exact same kind of jobs that they were working in Nigeria over here. And this is not a question for you, but if you want to add something, you can. And what I tell everyone that cares to listen is that, first of all, let me talk to my Nigerian people. You are Nigerian. The fact that you exist it's a miracle. The fact that you could save enough money, it's a miracle to go there. So if you find yourself in a foreign land and you actually have tech skills, but you're unable to land a role yet, what I'll tell you is that you are good enough. The fact that you can survive in any company in Nigeria, because many companies are struggling. You have toxic bosses, you are owning generator, you are going to go and buy fuel, you are doing all of that. The fact that you can overcome all of that, and all you just need to do is to face somebody in an interview session and talk to them about what you're capable of. Don't make them feel that you don't know what you're talking about. Just always see yourself as somebody. Always see things. Always look at them like they are naked and you're clothing them. That's the way I handle my interview session.
Word.
So tell them, be confident about what you do, and say it with your full chest. And if it is not yours, it's not. But the one that is yours will surely come. So thank you, thank you so much about for that. So on a lighter note, yeah. So what song describes your life right now? What song describes your life right now?
Mama pe mi wa o, baba wa go pe.
You are not Jay-Z again. You are not Jay-Z
To be
again.
honest, that was the song that just came to mind. Because, and the reason why I say that is because, even though Fave is just starting and we don't have like huge traction. I mean, people are registering, but we don't have like huge traction yet. Techpd Africa is just budding. I mean, TikTok has the highest following, over 4,000, but another platform on Instagram we have 600 and something followers. But the fact that I'm able to actually be in a position to execute my dreams, it's something I'm genuinely very thankful for, and I know for sure that in the next few years it will be in the fulfillment of the potential that these companies have. So honestly, that it's it is the song.
It's there is always things to be thankful for, and I pretty much I'm very grateful for you blessing us with your presence. So the last thing on every session like this is that the previous guest ask the next guest a question.
You don't diary of a CEO.
Yes. You see, let me tell you something. Before I started this podcast, I got like 30 billion hours of podcasts. So, and you see this podcast, all of them mated and created a baby. And one of the things I took from Diary of a CEO is that format of question. And the reason why I like that question is that you're asking somebody a question that you don't know. And the person that is answering that question is responding to the question to somebody that they don't know, and they don't know their intention for asking such a question. So that's the reason why I like that question. And Damola Pukbola asked this question. Damola Pukbola is the digital business strategy for Omnicom Media Group in Lagos, Nigeria. They're like the biggest ad network agency in Nigeria. Yeah. So he said, if the world was ending in 24 hours, what would be your top 5 things to do?
Find a way to bring all my loved ones together in one place and goof around all day.
1.
Talk to people about Jesus.
Okay.
Actually.
Goof around all day. What? Okay. Before we go very serious, what are you going to do with your loved ones in 24 hours?
Oh, just goof around all day, to be honest. Play, jump, disturb everybody. Everybody's laughing. That is it, honestly. Chase everybody. We're chasing each other around the compound. We're playing. That is basically 1. Okay, you said that is 1, right?
Yes.
2, talk to people about Jesus. 3, this is a hard question. 3, the world was ending in 24 hours. I think those are the 2, to be honest, because like, what is 24 hours? What would I do? Because, okay, I'm assuming that all my loved ones are now in the same place and we're doing all of these things. And then I have maybe a phone and I'm going live or something. I'm just saying, Jesus loves you and all of that. I think that would be it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because what else is there to do in 24 hours? I mean, it's not like I can.
Is that what you
I can't.
do? What's your favorite? What are your favorite activities? Like me, I mean, I like food. And my favorite food is African snails. I just be binging on snails. I can eat like 3 million naira of snails and leave the debt for my family to cover when I'm gone. That's that's how I might like I might want to go. But thank you very much. Family is everything, and it's always good when you have people that you love and you care about to be around you. They are not there for you when you have 24 hours anyway. They are there to help you all through your life, and we're not going to be spending much time. We're going to be spending less time with them as each day goes, and for every time that we spend with them, we should always relish it and enjoy and savor every moment with them. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Aderonke. It's when I started this, I said it to be interesting because media people, when I sabi, as in like there are so many TikTokable moments inside this thing. That's the reason why I was on your case in your DMs, like that you know.
Before we go, let me ask you a question.
Okay, ask me a question.
Okay, so it's a very serious question, because I don't want to put you on the spot. I'll reconsider them. Where do you see your podcast being in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, okay. Wow, that's a good question. I'm not going to look at the podcast as I'm not looking at it from a perspective of numbers, like, oh, I'm going to be the biggest in the world. Nah, I'm looking at it from the perspective of impact, and I'm looking at it from the perspective of variation of flavor. You know, when you take a bite of the juiciest pizza in the world, and you have like so many flavors coming through your mouth as a result of that mouthful. That is what I want that podcast to be. I want it to be a repository of unique human experiences. That is you being somebody that you are a very lovely, fun person that is very smart. Somebody like you might be a very, very much more calm person and articulate the same thing that you just said. And it's that particular information belongs to somebody else, and somebody that likes your own personality enjoys the way you said things. So that's what I want to be. And the goal of the podcast is very simple. Any point that you are in life as an individual who is trying to excel in their career or your business, I want anybody to pick up an episode on the podcast and they feel that they've gotten a thing or two that is very impressionable and very impactful for their life. That is the greatest thing I want, not the numbers.
Beautiful. So since we started this podcast, an idea actually came into mind, right? What do you think of? It just came as an image, right? So Techpd Africa X, your show, and then interviewing guests. So it's almost like the way you would be in a living room, and maybe two people are the interviewers and there are 2-3 guests. So basically everybody's online, and then me and you are the ones doing the interviewing, and then there are people answering questions, and then it's almost like words are being thrown left, right, and center. I think that would be fun.
I think it would be fun. It's actually a very good idea. The reason why I have no I thought about it. I'm not going to lie. I thought about it.
Okay. Why the spirits? Okay, forget UK, Nigeria.
I don't want to bet. You understand? So that, but I'm not gonna lie. I thought about it, and because I looked through your timeline very well, and I felt it would actually be very good when if we can have a podcast that is independent of this, that two of us will be able to mix something together, because me, I'm from a marketing tech background, and you are from like a pure tech background, and so people, yeah, so people can see how these two can complement each other, because on let me just segue a little bit. Were you on Twitter this whole week between this fight between engineers and marketing
Oh, really?
within the tech industry? God. Well,
Hmm.
note this handle down, Milton Tutu.
Milton.
Uh
Okay.
yeah, Milton Tutu, like TUTU, Milton. You
Okay.
get,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's a CMO for Tricella.
Okay.
Is a digital marketplace for digital products. It's a marketplace for digital products. So it's the
Okay.
CMO for that company, and it talked about the guys in products not having enough respect for marketing and things like that. So the market and the engineers are coming back like, dude, we created a product, it don't matter, and the marketing guys are like, your products will not go anywhere without our inputs. It was if I entered the ring go, because you know me, I like violence.
You have to
So
defend your team.
I had to different, as somebody who has worked across literally the biggest tech products in the world, literally from a marketing perspective.
Boy, okay. Big
And
boy plugin. Okay.
yes. So I'm just not allowed to say their names, unfortunately. You get so literally the biggest tech products in Nigeria and in the world at large. Um, I understand that despite the fact that those companies have created fantastic products, I've seen them create products that didn't survive as well. So it is not about a product being bad that kills a product alone, and it's not about the marketing being bad that doesn't make a product scale. It's usually, from my experience, it's usually when the two are unable to work together, looking at everything from just one point of view, that is the product winning. That's when a product is very unlikely to succeed. That has been my own experience for the past 7 odd years. So we left podcast and started like exchanging something we're meant to be saying on WhatsApp. But it's all right. We have a relationship here. We'll take it further offline, and let's see how it goes. Thank you very much, Ronke. It's been a
Thank you
fantastic.
so much, Olave, for having me. This is my first interview, so it's a big deal for
You
me.
should do more. You are interviewing a. Let's see.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you. Thank you
Cheers.
very much.